In this video, we're going to show you as a professional how you can go through and update your profile and make sure it is accurate. We'll go over some kind of tips you can use and what best practices are in terms of your profile. So first off, make sure you go to our website, automateamerica.com, and then from there you go over here to the login button, and it'll bring up the screen where you can log in. Make sure you log in with your email address that you used to sign up with. We just created kind of a generic one here. And make sure you remember your password. And then once you do that, then it will take you to your profile. Now, this already kind of filled in. I did this earlier, but I'll walk you through the steps nonetheless. Usually when you first start your profile, you're prompted into your About section. Now, one thing to point out is all the sections on your profile have this little pencil with a circle around it. That's where you go through and you can edit any information within that box. So for example, this will pop up and you'll want to enter, make sure your name is in there, your occupation, check whether you're a legal U.S. citizen or not, how much automation experience you might have in years and in months, and then the country, the zip code you live, and then your About Me. This is where you want to put in, 2, 3, 4 sentences about, who you are and what you do, and it's kind of treated like a summary for a resume, if you will. You don't want to be too terribly in-depth, but, make sure you give a good picture of who you are when a company looks at your profile. Then select what type of work you're interested in, whether you're a contractor or you're looking for direct hire. We'll select contractor. Also, here's the base rate. Now, this isn't something that's mandatory to fill out, but it might be a good idea to fill out anyway. It basically is kind of a base rate that you're interested in earning at Automate America through positions that we may have. It doesn't include you or disclude you from any work requests out there, but it just kind of gives an overall picture of what you might be looking to earn. So I just basically put in $55. And there's no right or wrong answer to this, and there's no guaranteed that's what you're going to get, or what you may get more, you may get less. Just kind of depends on every job as being different. So once you fill all that out and make sure you have a picture of yourself, try to make it an accurate representation of you. If it's a headshot, maybe it's your LinkedIn profile picture or something like that. Try to do that. Maybe try to keep it as simple as possible. Don't use logos. That can kind of get a little confusing sometimes. So if you have a picture, that's usually a good approach to have. So once you have all that, go ahead and click Save, and then it will save all the information that you have. It'll include where you're located, what your job title is, what you're available for contracts. If you choose direct hire, this will say available for direct hire, the number of years of experience, and then obviously the About Me part of it. And then what you do is you can go through and you can add different things to these various categories. Now I will tell you that it may be an instance where you feel like you're duplicating information. That's okay. Simply because don't ever make the assumption that an HR manager or an engineer or a project manager is going to look at the same place to see what you've done and what you're good at. So they're not always going to look at work experience. They're not always going to look at programming skills. They're going to kind of look everywhere. So you want to make sure that you are as complete and as robust with your profile as possible. I like to say that your profile is kind of like your storefront. This is the first impression you make upon a potential hiring manager or project manager when you're a candidate for a position. So you want to make sure that this is as complete as possible. We'll start with programming skills. And I just listed off, since I said I was a robot programmer, I just went in and included robots that I'm experienced with. You can do so very simply. If you want to add a particular programming skill, you certainly can. Just go up here to this plus button and click it. We have some default top manufacturers here along the side. You're welcome to use those if they fit, or you can also type in your own. It's fine either way. But when you do, let's say I'll just click Siemens. And then when you come down here, it'll automatically drop you down to the model and controller, and you're able to pick from kind of a broad list of different models or controls within Siemens. And maybe one's not listed here, you can type that in, that's not a problem. You can also back out, and it does the same for Allen Bradley. And then it also does the same for just about any of these that we have a regular setup with. So if maybe you are an experienced MotoMan programmer, with a robot programmer, then it'll come here and it'll give you different models to select from. So I'll just say the DX100, the NX100, and the DX200, just for the sake of argument. You want to make sure you put down the number of years of experience. Say I have 5 years experience, and then my rating. Be honest. If you're not necessarily an expert at it, that's okay. Maybe 3 stars is okay. It's not, it's fine, but be honest with it. Don't, if you've only done it for a year, don't say you're 5 stars, because that's probably not accurate. So 5 years, we'll just say 5 stars. If you have any details on what you've done specifically with MotoMan robots, feel free to enter that here. Maybe it's a particular project or projects, or job function that you may have. Enter that here in the skill details box right here. And then once you've done that, go ahead and click save. And then as you can see, it pops up right here. And so I've added Fanuc, MotoMan, ABB, and KUKA. And you can go through and you can edit these any way you like. So for example, maybe I just want to add a skill detail for MotoMan. So go over here to the pencil and go ahead and click the pencil, and then go down here and just type in that you have extensive support experience with MotoMan. And that's it. And then you click save. And then as you can see, it just pops up right down here. And the rest of these categories work basically the same. But you want to make sure, like I said, be as complete as you possibly can with these. Professional competencies, if you parsed in your resume, some of these are going to show up automatically. So what you basically need to do is just kind of go through the list and check and see, you know, what's on here, if it applies, if it doesn't apply. And then you can also add information to it. This would be where you would add specific projects, you know, specific skill sets within automotive manufacturing or social media or whatever it happens might pop up. So again, you just click the pencil. That brings up the dialog box. You can change your rating to whatever you like. And then you can type in anything in the comments. Comments is where you're going to put any of your programming skills. Maybe you worked on several projects within the automotive field. List those out. Put them right here. Make sure they are there and displayed evenly. And you can add any of these as well. If you go up to the little plus sign here, you can add a particular programming skill, like let's say professional competency, programming skill, whatever. Let's say you want to add leadership. You've got leadership experience. You're really good at it. You've been a project manager. And then go ahead and click save. And then you can see it pops up. So the same thing works for skilled trades. We kind of have, for each one of these categories, we have kind of a top list right here that you're welcome to choose from. You can also add in ones that you can think of yourself that may not be here. So if there's something here that's not on this list that you do have a skill in, by all means, you know, add that in at your convenience. And roll through these. The interview questions you'll go through when you first start up your profile. There are several of these that you can answer. Are you willing to work more than 60 miles from home? Are you willing to take emergency contracts, relocate? Are you a citizen? Do you have a passport? Are you willing to work nights or afternoons? Are you willing to work on Sundays? Are you willing to work on Saturdays? So these are basic interview questions. Again, they're not disqualifiers by any means. So if you answer no, it doesn't mean that you're not going to fit for a job. But if there is a position that we have open that is maybe a night shift job, then it might not be something that you would want to be fit for. So you want to make sure that if you're not willing to do it, that you check no. If you are willing to do it, then go ahead and click yes. Same thing for Saturdays and Sundays. Are you willing to permanently relocate? All these types of things. Just make sure you're as honest as possible with these, and you can see that those answers pop up right there. So again, the same thing goes for applications and occupations. You can add these in at your leisure. You can, and make sure you expand upon these. Please, I like to say, don't leave any white space. So make sure you fill out. What have you done with management? What are your specific skills with management? I see it's in here twice, so I'm going to delete one of them and take that out. So, if I have particular jobs I did where I was a project manager, I want to go ahead and list these right here. I may have listed them, maybe up here in leadership or somewhere else. That's okay. There's not a problem in doing that. So you have occupations, then you have industries that you've worked in. This is, what type of fields have you worked in? Have you worked in the automation industry? Have you worked in the automotive industry? Have you worked in oil and gas? All these types of things you want to make sure you add. And again, include descriptions of what it is you've done with those particular industries. Work experience, this is basically like a resume. You work for Diverse Automation, so what did you do? So here I'll just click this, and my primary occupation was digital manager. And then duration, we'll say I started in October of 2017, and I currently work here. So then I'll click save, and then it'll show up. Now again, if you notice when I go back here, you'll see that I do have the ability to put in responsibilities and accomplishments. Again, put your projects that you worked on, put anything that you've done, within, for this particular company under this particular job title. Be as descriptive as you possibly can, and you do that for all of your different work experiences. And again, you can add work experiences if you so choose. If maybe you've worked more than 2 places, add more to it. Be as complete as possible. Education certificates and training. If you've gone to a university, if you've done some training, make sure you add that. I'll just change this. I have a Bachelor of Arts. My year of completion was 2013 and is with the University of Massachusetts. My specialization was journalism. And if you had any projects maybe within that, you can add that. Any comments, anything you worked on, feel free. Again, make sure you add as much information as you possibly can. Now, you notice here that there's not a picture. You're welcome to upload a picture here if you so choose. Do so if you'd like. Here I've got Johns Hopkins University. This is a Master of Arts. It is in government. And add that in. What the year of completion was 2018. Specialization was government. You can see it drops down automatically, and then just click save, and there you go. And then you can just add these as you edit these as you need to. Any tools, machines, or equipment competencies that you may have. Again, we've got a list here on the side that you can use, but you're welcome to use whatever you like. I'll just say I'm good with a computer. I'm good with basic hand tools. Maybe there's more. If this is not on the list, add something to it. Add whatever it might be, and then go ahead and click save. So now we've gone through the basics of the real meat of the profile. There's other things you can do as well. The availability calendar. This is also a big one. This tells us when you're available for work and when you're not available for work. It also works within the system to pop you up for jobs. So if your availability calendar isn't updated, then you may not appear for a job that you may want, which means a company may not see you right off. So you want to make sure that your availability calendar is as accurate as possible. So if you come in here, just click availability calendar, and you can change this as you like. So if you say that from, let's say, today until the 24th, I am not available, and click save. And it'll pop up here that your next available date is not till the 25th because you weren't done until the 24th. So this will show us that you're available, but not until after the 25th. So again, you want to make sure you're checking into your profile on a regular basis and seeing when that availability is and changing that as you need to. You can share your information via social media. We encourage you to do so. If you want to share your profile, please do. Also, there's other things you can upload. If you didn't upload a resume to start, you can certainly do that. If you have a background check already on file, go ahead, upload that. A drug test, a photo ID, all you have to do is just click this little upload button, and then it'll prompt you to select a file to choose. Your personal information, this is going to be what you entered whenever you logged in, so it's going to have your email address, the phone number that you entered. You can also add in your LinkedIn profile. Go ahead and do so. If there's something in particular, if you want to go ahead and share your profile, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Any software competencies, anything that you're good at software-wise. You can see I added Microsoft Office, FANUC RoboGuide, Siemens S7, and RS Logix 5000. Just click the pencil. You see we have some automatics here. You can add others as you see fit. So just feel free to add those based on what your experience is and what you're competent with. Professional references. If you have references already on file, go ahead and add those. Very simple to do. You just add the name, who they work for, what their position is, phone number, and email, and it will show up right here in this little box. And you can add as many of those as you like. Usually 3 is a good round number. But if you want to add more, you certainly can. If you want to add less, that's okay too. Safety passes and access, anything that you might have a safety pass for, right? Maybe it's BMW. We'll say I have BMW at Plant Spartanburg. And the title was just Plant Safety. You can add the date of application if you want, the date of expiration if you so see fit. and it'll add it right there. So that way that shows us that you have a safety pass for BMW at Plant Spartanburg. Languages spoken, again, also pretty self-explanatory. If you speak multiple languages, add it. Separate everything by a comma. So, for example, I have English, and then I'll say Italian and Spanish. And then all you have to do is hit save. And you see those pop up right there. So that's basically how you complete your profile. Again, spend some time with this. Don't take it lightly. Like I said, this is your storefront. This is what companies will see first when you are applying for a position or when you're being recommended for a position. So you want to make sure this is as explanatory as possible, and that tells as much information about you and what you've done as possible. That way companies can get a good look at it and they can see exactly what you're skilled with. So that is how that works. That's all for now. If you have any questions, make sure you email us at info@automateamerica.com.